there, it's Amy Kunkel, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and blogger at crazybeautiful.com. I'm going to be using the It's Wild background stamp. I've got it on my clear block. I did not put the sticker on just in case you flip it over and say, where's your sticker? I'm not going to put the sticker on. I just feel like it sticks better this way. And I'm going to show you a couple tips for getting a really good image. So I'm going to do it 3 different ways. The first way is to do a colored stripe onto white cardstock. So I've re-inked my Bermuda Bay. You can see the lines there of my ink pad, of my re-inker that is. And it's going to kind of go on a little unevenly because of that. So, but what I'm going to do is just make sure that it is actually spread evenly by just patting it on. Okay, and you can see that I've also got my paper set up on top of my paper piercing mat, and I've got a piece of scrap paper underneath it. Okay, so I'm going to just go over one more time, kind of in the very same direction. If you look at the stamp, and there is kind of like a, you can't really see it there, but there's sort of a pooling down here. It's going to reflect on your paper. So you just want to be careful about that. So now this is really wet and inky. Okay, if you don't have, okay, let me flip this over real quick and show you. I'm just going to flip it over and leave it there for a second. If you don't have an ink pad that's re-inked and is the new foam ink pads, maybe it's one of the older like linen ones, you can always ink it up really good as you can, and then spritz it nice and evenly. Okay, so now you can even see what happened is I did not get all that to transfer over, so maybe I didn't push hard enough. I don't know if I'm gonna. So still not super happy. This is the regular weight Whisper White cardstock, and what's going to happen with this is it's going to raise up a little bit when you put all that ink on there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to some of my thick Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to try again having this stay on the bottom. Okay, so take 2. Okay, so you're just going to want to re-ink, trying to make sure there aren't any lines in there. Now this time I'm going to set it down on top. I'm going to use my thumb to lock it into place and then kind of let go of the other edges. So peel that up so you can see what you're doing, and then carefully pull it off. Okay, so I have some reindeer on my pattern. That's going to be a problem. But I think overall it turned out nicely. I could have maybe been a little bit more patient for that to transfer over, but let's try this again. I'm learning. This is usually the process that I go through behind the scenes. I don't necessarily have everything figured out. No, I do usually have everything figured out by the time I get my videos recorded. So giving this enough time to transfer that ink over, let it absorb onto this cardstock, pull that up, and then carefully peel it away. Now that was definitely the best result overall. One thing you can also do when it's nice and wet is just come in here and fill in some of the white. I could see definitely having to do this with the black because my ink pad is not very juicy. I think this is like a decent solution. then you can use this background in whole or in part on several different cards. I'm gonna move on to the next one and show you how to do a color onto another color. So I've re-inked my Memento ink, which is the black that I typically use, and I'm just going to re-ink it. Now this is more of a linen pad, so you might need to swirl it a little bit, but you know, definitely re-inking it before you do this technique is going to make sure you have a nice coating of that ink. And it's even a little bit bubbly. I'm gonna put it onto our new Tip Top taupe. So this is a little bit smaller. I'm just gonna hold it down with that first finger and then bring in a piece of scrap paper. I really need to grab my brayer. That would really make me feel like I've got a good coating of it. I don't think that thing helped last time. So make sure it gets good and absorbed. Take off your scrap piece of paper and then peel off like that. There you go. I mean, that's all right. I probably would still want it a little bit darker, but it's cool. I like it. I'm going to switch over and I'm going to clean this off real well so we can do some heat embossing. Okay, so for this one I decided to do white on top of my Melon Mambo, sorry. Okay, this is a lot to heat emboss, so just keep in mind that it will get pretty hot. So I do have my little aluminum foil covered clipboard so that I don't burn myself and I also don't start the card on fire. But that's kind of a given, right? Don't start the card on fire. So, all right, so go ahead and do that. And you're gonna lift it up. It's gonna be a little bit sticky. And I probably should have refilled my white embossing powder, but this will spread pretty well. And you know what I'm going to tell you on this is if you don't get a good first try, you can always add more embossing powder when it's wet and heat it again. I'm gonna heat it off camera. I did cut this to a little bit larger so that I could make sure to have something that I was gonna grab onto. So I don't know. We're just gonna have to sacrifice some of the print and heat emboss it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial on using your It's Wild background stamp, and stop over to my blog to see some finished cards with these backgrounds. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.